Hello and welcome to Trolls at the Two Tonne Bridges, or TOTTB. My name is John and I'll be your Percival Silverlight today. This week, after the group get back together after the exploits of the bathhouse, Zibi decides to explore the seedy underbelly of Portney and Zaru. Hopefully slightly less seedy is our social media presence that you can find under the header of TOTTB Podcast. That's TOTTB Podcast. Come say hello and ignore the seediness. While you're tippy-tappy on your phone to send us a lovely message, or you could be on your computer or a laptop, who knows? Maybe even use a cup and a string, although we don't have the other cups, so that'll be a bit hard. Make sure you join us for some adventure.
The Log of Percival Silverlight. Success! We have made it out of the bathhouse with nary a scratch upon us. Although I'm not so sure that the other patrons were happy with Zibi and I in our inadvertent coitus interruptus, whilst searching for the cloaked figure we were in pursuit of. Rana has apparently spoken to the masseuse at the front entrance and learned that our quarry was most likely already gone. Having been shown the exit by several irate masseuserizers, we met with soliloquy. We must now decide where our path lay. Hopefully towards adventure.
We jump back in this week, having finished up in the bathhouse. For any of you that can't quite remember, Zibi and Percival had gone into the bathhouse and gone into the actual baths, disturbed one of the people using the private services of the masseuses, and had possibly unsurprisingly been thrown out, though I'm sure you'd hasten to disagree with the words thrown out.
No, we left.
Yeah, it was our choice.
There's a difference.
Rana, meanwhile, displaying quite a brilliant use of
money
bribery at the front. Money, yes. Managed to convince the receptionist. Well, I say marvellous. It was marvellous for Rana, is my kind of thinking. It's fairly, standard, bribe the guy. But actually, for Rana to have had that much self-awareness, to have worked that out, that was a way of getting the information, I feel like there's some kudos there. Anyway, Rana deduced from the receptionist that there was a particular symbol used by certain patrons of the bathhouses to gain access without any faff. Upon describing this, Zibi, you would have recognised this as basically it's like a safe house, as the bathhouse provides some sort of service for allowing people to pass through and get away when they're being pursued. And in this instance, whoever had come in had used this particular service and been rushed through. And as a result, unfortunately, you seem to have lost them, whoever they were.
Did Rana not say that he wasn't going to tell us what the thing was because it was his and he paid for it?
He hasn't shown you what it was.
What, his special secret move? We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't shown you the move. He's just sort of told you, from what I can remember, what he found out.
I just vaguely, but I didn't reveal what the move was because I just don't think Rana would see what we need to say. He went to the effort to get it. He hunted it. It's his. I think that's Rana's point of view. He has quite a singular mindset in that sort of thing.
Get your own, yeah.
Well, we haven't really discussed even the activity of chasing this guy anyway, because I think, as far as Percival's concerned, it's like I was just chasing someone. I don't know what's going on.
That is true. Yeah, the only reason you were chasing them is because Soliloquy saw somebody look shifty, and I don't think she's really explained that to you guys yet. It was just kind of like, "Quick, follow me," and you guys just followed her.
And then until you didn't, and then you went off and didn't even bother looking for her.
We were.
Well, we were.
I think you're fine, Soliloquy, that we were looking for somebody. I just don't know who or why.
Or where, or who.
Why? Who? Where?
When.
An untrustworthy city lizard got sent to find me and
When?
failed.
Well, the only reason we know when is that we were there. Everything else is a complete mystery.
For some reason, we ended up in a bathhouse, and we saw somebody naked.
We saw lots
I
of
think.
naked people in a bathhouse. That was it.
So you saw lots of naked people, yes.
and Zibi lost a braid.
I
that's
don't
true.
want to talk
That
about
is true.
that. Thank you very much.
Did manage to hang on to the knife though, just about.
Yeah, and also the braid is tied around my wrist now, so it's fine.
Maybe it's time for a shave, Zibi.
Maybe it's time to shut your gob.
So anyway, guys, I had a bit of a weird one. I know I told you to go right, but I thought if I have a look around, if I went left, that I might find. Basically, I saw this weird person in a hood. They were watching us, and when we came out of wherever we've been, I've forgotten. Oh yeah, the infirmary. I can remember where we've been.
You were in the infirmary visiting
visiting
Kalahu.
Kalua. Yep.
No, Kalahu.
That's what I said.
Drink.
Kalua. Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
And yes, and then this person I noticed, I got a weird feeling that somebody was watching us, and I saw this person. They were just, they were peering around the corner, and they were just watching us, and all suspicious like. And then they
Hang on. So we just chased after one of my fans.
no, they didn't look like, because when we saw them, they legged it. They ran away.
Okay.
And they had
So
their
we
hood up.
chased after one of my shy fans.
Well, maybe, but I don't think they're a fan. I think they were, I don't know, doing reconnaissance or...
They certainly didn't mistake me for Gulliman, that's for certain.
Okay, Percival.
What is your deal with Gullivan?
Gulliman.
Gilliman.
Gilliman.
I didn't tell you one of my friends.
Gilliman.
One of my friends is his nephew, did I?
Well, he sounds like a right...
Anyway.
I'll just go over here.
But yes, anyway, that's why this person saw me see him, and then they ran. And I keep getting a feeling around here now and again that I'm being watched. And I don't know why, so that's why I ran. But I found this area, and there was like a few stalls, and there's these high walls. And do you remember early on, one of our first days here, when somebody was telling us, I think it might have been that voice like God, sometimes known as the DM, was telling us about the beautiful place with the golden roof.
Well, we've been past it. It was raining at the time, I believe.
That's the one.
And again, it's always raining here.
It's true. But yes, I wandered into the grounds of that area.
Was it nice?
I stood out a bit. I kind of walked in and tried to be cool and
That would be the problem.
yes, I thought so too. I did stick my head in the big golden thing, and it was very pretty, very beautiful, and people were
You mean the
were
church?
playing temple of sorts.
Temple, church, thing.
Yes, and there was somebody on their own special chair thing at the front, like they were special,
Throne?
doing their playing. And I assume from talking to Jasmine, I saw the person who they were talking about, who I'm just now referring back to in my brain notebook.
Your brain book? Yes.
Yes, my brain
hang on,
notebook.
what?
Xanthe. Is it Xanthe? I think.
Xanthe,
Wait.
yes.
No, Xanthe, yes. I think it might have been Xanthe who was sat on the big fancy seat. Going by these seats and chaise lounge and things like that were in the gladiator areas and things. I'm assuming the person I saw in there was her. So now I
on
know
your
what they look
knowledge of chairs in general, you thought that it might be. Okay.
Anyway, I was quite unnerved, really, being in there, that it felt like a different bit of town in a rough way.
Do you think that we should... well, apparently it's full of gold, so... but do you think that we should talk to Xanthe at some point? I'm guessing we probably should.
Yeah, well, yes, we absolutely need to talk to everybody, really, but... Yeah, but anyway, don't worry, I got out of there. We're still with, still in one piece.
Still got all your limbs.
Don't you worry, I got out. My siliquy senses were tingling, and I moved fast, and now I'm here. And I'm sure when I left you lot,
your
you were wearing more
tingle.
clothes. Yes. My monkey tingle.
Your monkey tingle. Yes.
Yes.
Sounds obscene.
It does, rather.
The old monkey tingle.
You have to pay good money for that sort of thing.
Exactly. That only happens in that special tiny little back room in the bar
Camden
house.
Road. Yeah.
Yeah, what happens in tiny little back rooms stays in tiny little back rooms.
Exactly.
Let me get out the monkey tingle.
Oh, no.
So do we know who it was that we were even chasing? Do we know what was going on with that at all?
Well, no. I was certain, though. They were definitely...
Human.
Weird. No, and there were definitely something untoward about them. They were definitely watching us in a non-friendly or non-fan-like way.
I guess all we really need to do then is just keep an eye out for them in future, unless there's anything else that we've got to go on to find them.
I think we just need to keep our wits about us. But how did you...
Well, we're at a loss there.
Well, yes, true.
Yeah.
How did you get on with the... Did you see where the person we were following, did you see where they went at all? Because I lost them.
No, they must be incredibly fiendish, because they lost us in a bath.
Okay.
Me and Zibi had an excellent plan, and unfortunately we were trounced by a naked man getting a hand shandy.
Well.
And just for once, just for once, it wasn't Percy.
What do you mean for once?
Rana says Rana was suspicious of the receptionist, so Rana persuaded him to give Rana information.
Ooh, what did they tell you?
He said the man was a special customer. They provide some sort of services to those who are considered special. Part of the...
That was the person that we ran into, wasn't it?
Yes.
Special services?
What do you think they mean, rather, with special customers? Do you think it's like some kind of gang or something, some sort of secret meetings or something like that? Or do you think it's like a cult or something? Or do you think special customer is weird kinks?
Barna looks confused and says they did not appear to be bent in a way that was uncomfortable.
Ah, Rana, the things you will learn. Kinks are crazy, weird sex type things. Not necessarily just fun, just very fucking weird.
Rana once again looks confused and says, but there are only two sexes, yes? Male and female. This is confusing and beside the point. He says,
Rana, I will draw you some pictures later on.
I don't think you will.
Now it's just confusing more.
Rana looks positively disturbed at this prospect and says he said services. He indicated that they could be of many types, and I have perhaps the means to access these services, but I think we have caused enough trouble for one evening at least. We should perhaps come back at a later time.
That definitely sounds like kinky sex shit to me.
Yes. Well, what else did we actually have to achieve? I believe we were on the way to beat 7 shades of tar out of this this gambling fellow who I believe, owes money to insert title here whilst I look for their
Kahlua?
name. Kahlua?
Or-
No. Kahlua was
Kahlua
going.
was
no.
going to
So
get
the money. So
Yeah.
the original task that you had
Akene,
was Akene
yes.
had tasked you with going and making Taban pay for their missed bet.
Taban. Thank you.
Think of Tapao, but put Ban there instead.
My shining in my heart. Whatever. I don't remember the song.
Like gold in my hand.
Yeah.
yeah.
The good thing is I managed to get my step counting already today. So that's done.
We were all waiting for the results.
Yeah, I've done all right today, yes.
Good.
So we need to at some point check on Grandfather's Atembe to see if he's woken up and how he's doing.
I believe we did that yesterday, but he hadn't.
Was it only yesterday?
Yes, I know
It was
feels like
only
months at
yesterday.
this
In
point.
fact, I actually think it was this morning.
I know it was only 2 hours ago, but it feels like possibly 3 months.
Exactly. Amazing.
It's interesting what time does, isn't it? Time dilation.
Yes. It's quite crazy. Do you know, I've had the weirdest feeling since I've been in church that an hour feels like a week.
You know, I bet Einstein didn't have anything to say about D&D time dilation.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Were we going to meet up with Kalahu and see if she could help us? I believe that was the deal.
Well, obviously we need to go and meet her first because she might be able to kick him in the kneecaps while he's not looking.
You left Kalahu in the infirmary. You had, I believe it was Rana, I think? Somebody healed her. I think it was Rana.
Yeah, Rana healed her, yeah.
Who healed up her leg.
But Kalahu's going to come with us as well.
Yeah, that's the plan. What she had said was that she would meet up with you in the Giggling Squid that evening. So you don't necessarily need to go, meet up with her now. You still have, to my mind, from what I can remember, it's sort of mid-afternoonish sort of time. So you've still got a fair bit of the day left.
Did you want to go and talk to anybody about the pirate problem that they've got or anything like that? Or we were thinking about as well going up to where the job board thing was to see what other jobs there were. And I don't think we got as far as looking for that, did we? Because we needed money.
Didn't, no. So that is something you can do.
Wasn't we thinking about going up there the last time we got run over by a Triceratops? Wasn't that where we were on our way to?
I think we're coming back from...
No, you guys were coming back from the Temple of Sevras.
Yeah.
You got run over by a Triceratops and were introduced to the guide pair of Farul and Gondalo, or Gondolo even. And then you headed down to the the Dino Dens. Dragon's not till later. You headed down to the Dino Dens, met with the Kene, headed back into the city to find the infirmary in order to talk to Kalahu, saw the potential spy that Silikui was so worried about, chased them to the bathhouse. I think that was everything so far.
Now we're mooching.
Now you're
Yes.
mooching, yes. Yeah, so the question is what exactly you do want to do next, because you've been told by Kalahu that the place to sort of look for more information on Taban, or at least maybe find Taban, is the Enchanted Dinosaur, which is in Tyric Anchorage, which is the easternmost gate heading into the jungle, so back where the Dino Dens were. If you wanted to find out more about the pirates, you could go to the Harbour Master's office to try and find Zindar, because he's the one who is apparently looking for somebody to take down the pirates, so it would be an idea to maybe go and either find Zindar or talk to somebody at the Harbour Master's office at least.
Wasn't the Harbour Master's office kind of where the job board was?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
exactly,
Well,
the job board the job board is
Yeah.
at the Harbour Master's office.
Sort of over here as well.
Just a quick rundown of other things that you can do in Port Nyanzaro. So far, the only other things that you really have that you can do, other than going after Taban or going to the Harbour Masters, the only other things are potentially trying to find and meet up with other merchant princes or find and meet the other guides in the city. I believe that's pretty much other than that and shopping. I think they're the only things that so far you actually have to do in the city.
I think we should try and meet the guides at least. We kind of then start getting some feelings about them.
I do believe that it's probably wise for us to start talking to the guides a little later, though, because we don't have any cash.
That's a very good point. It's,
Aye.
They
probably want money.
You've got a little bit of cash, but nowhere enough at the minute, I think.
But then also, don't forget, a lot of the guides said that they will forego their fee for us helping them with one of their quests.
Very true.
Well, they said they'd forego the upfront fee, not it entirely.
I was thinking if we need to go and have a look at pirates. Zibi's still got an idea of actually going off and having a chat with somebody who's not strictly legal to find out about pirates. So you guys could go and speak to the harbour master, and I could have a chat with somebody that I can find.
We could go and speak to the Dragonborn guy.
Yeah.
We should also try and find Musharib as well, because I think they'd be a good one to talk to as well, because he's the one that can do the forge that the people from Camp Vengeance now want.
Yeah. I mean, he's the one I think we should probably go with anyway.
So, who is doing what then? So, Zibi, you've said you want to go have a look for some less than legal contacts.
Yes.
So, what are the rest of you doing then?
Do you want anybody coming with you at all, Zibi?
Zibi, do you want somebody to watch your back, just in case?
I need somebody who's not going to embarrass me in front of the criminal fraternity.
Well, that's obviously me.
Well, Zibi, I will let you choose.
No need to choose. The man's already decided.
Siliqui, much as it pains me to say this, sending Rana and Percy off by themselves is a recipe for disaster. So if Rana comes with you to find out what's going on with the legal sort of side of things, I mean, you can leave him looking at the seaside and he'll be quite happy.
Oh, I can point at a squid or something. He'll be fine.
I'll take Percy with me because he's less likely to annoy the Dragonborn and get himself burnt to death.
This is true. That's a very good point, Zibi. I think Zindar, that's his name. I just remembered.
It's your book of mind. Yes.
My book of mind.
Book of memory.
Yes, Zindar. Rana, would you like to come with me and we'll go and find Zindar, the Golden Dragonborn, who did those amazing fire attacks on those undead?
Rana perks up at this, and Rana was impressed greatly by Zindar. Zindar, what's his name? Fiery Dragon Man. Zindar, that was it.
Zinda. As opposed to Sindra, who is the person that's originally contacted you.
Sandra.
Oh, that's fine. She's Sandra. Yep.
Rana was impressed by him, and will gladly see an opportunity to go and see him. And he looks quite excited at the prospects and says, "Perhaps he will show us more magics." He says, and his eyes sparkle.
Wait a minute.
Impressed.
I can show you magic all day long. What's so special about his magic against my magic?
Zibi, don't get jealous now.
Just because he's got scales and a fancy tail.
Your magic is wonderful enough too. Is it just a different kind of magic, Zibi?
Do some kind of indoor fireworks thing.
I can do that. I've got thaumaturgy. I can do indoor bloody fireworks as well.
You can. They're bloody brilliant. They are. They're lovely. Rana, don't keep saying complimentary things about the Dragonborn until we've left Zibi. Otherwise, he's going to get jealous.
And as Zibi was saying this, when he so I can cast indoor fireworks, etc., he does the Gandalf thing where he seems to grow and the light gets dark behind him because he's using thaumaturgy at the same time. Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks there.
He uses cantrip.
Yeah, like, how dare you?
Is that not what you're doing right now? No, okay, I'll leave it.
It's totally different. No, it's fine.
Rana sort of looks around as though he's looking. He says, "Which way do we go?" And then when it's indicated, he starts slowly walking off in that direction, muttering in Chultan about how cool it is to see that spellcasting dinosaur.
Oh dear.
Maybe I should have got him to come with me instead.
I'm genuinely unsure if Rana would have even seen a Dragonborn or have any concept of what a Dragonborn is.
Quite possibly no. Yeah.
But Rana has seen lots of dinosaurs, so I think, like, from Rana's perspective, until he's educated otherwise, a talking, educated, magic-wielding
Magic dinosaur,
dinosaur is pretty much everything a boy from the jungle would think is awesome. So
That's like the ultimate wild shape.
He's the superhero of Port Nyanzara.
I think from Rana's perspective, it would be like, I don't know, like, a dwarf sees a woman with a massive beard who can smith with both hands and both feet at the same time and outdrink you. So I think, from Rana's perspective, it's just super awesome, and he can't wait to go and see him. So yes, Rana will eagerly head off and see Zinda.
I was thinking about maybe popping in to see Wakanga as well. I wouldn't mind checking out his library, because we haven't actually looked in his library for any of these potential useful things to do with the visions we had. So should we meet Wakanga's?
I'll tell you what, if you go and speak to Zinda,
Yeah.
if you go to Wakanga, if we go back to the Giggling Squid, just in case Kalua turns up, and then eventually we'll all meet back at the Giggling Squid for tea time or something.
Yeah, sounds good. Is that good for you? Rana's walked off. Okay, I assume that's okay for Rana as well. I'm going to go and catch up with Rana now.
You do that.
Awesome. So, like any good DM party, you've decided to split and go separate ways. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this never goes wrong. Right, let's see. Who are we going to deal with first? We are going to deal with... okay, let's deal with Team Illegal first. Right.
Okay.
So, Nick and John. Nick, we've had quite some time, I think, because this has been in your mind for a little while. What precisely do you think Zibi is looking for, and what is he trying to find?
We've got dark glasses, it's midnight, and we're in a stolen police car.
So what?
Surely in this one it will be a police dino.
I like the fact
police
that
dinosaur.
I like the fact that I've just noticed in the GIF in the background he's Ray Charles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's Rana.
Yeah, it's Rana in the background.
Yeah.
Siliqui's videoing it. It's fine. No, she's just drawing it really fast on lots of pages. That's how it's moving.
Yeah. Like a flick book. Yeah.
Moving pictures? What is this magic?
Just some weird cheese dream I had.
And Rana's just sat down with wooka nuts behind them. Yeah.
So Zibi is he's got a rough idea of because I'm guessing with my criminal background he'll have a rough idea where the slightly seedier types hang out. So he's going to head there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And obviously I know the sort of people to look for. As we discussed before, he's got a fairly good idea on the sort of areas to search for and the people to talk to, because he can find somebody trustworthy in a criminal sort of way.
So what I will have you do, I'm going to have you roll an investigation, and it's going to be a straight one on the ruling that with your criminal background you would have advantage, but from my understanding of your characters, the fact that you're bringing Percy with you would impose disadvantage on you in your search for clandestine people, and so therefore it levels out to just a straight roll. Do you think that's fair?
Percy, fuck off with Siliqui.
I don't have to be with you if you don't want me to be here, Zibi. I'll go get a coffee.
You can get coffee and I'll meet you down the corner in 5 minutes.
Would you like a sugar?
I'd like 3 and some cream.
3 sugars, okay. Do you have milk?
Cream.
Okay, so from what I understand from that, yeah, you're just going to leave Percival at what, the Red Market or something like that?
Percival has a very important mission.
just come find me a coffee and a Danish.
Yeah.
What's a Danish?
A bit like the pastries that I got you.
I hope you don't mind as well, John, because I realise that could be seen as a bit mean to you, but I feel like that's fairly accurate. It's
Percival, it's funny.
Okay, off I go to Global Bucks.
Canon, The coffee shop everywhere in the continent of Faroon is the Greasy Mermaid.
Greasy Mermaid.
Isn't there one just across the street from that one as well?
Yeah, there's 5 in one corner. Just
And then
all
none for
together.
miles, yeah.
Closely followed by Lotters.
Have a bucket of coffee.
Ah, yep, gotcha. That took me a second. I was like, Lotte? Oh, yeah, gotcha, Costa. Right. So, Zibi, you're going to attempt this on your own then?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, in which case you can roll with advantage.
So it's investigation, wasn't it? Investigation
yes.
for me is a +1 with this specific task because of the criminal contact background. Would that be including my proficiency bonus?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, I will say it's with your proficiency,
So
because this is something, this is again...
That makes it a +3.
Yeah, it's sort of like muscle memory in that sort of like, you haven't actually practiced this in a while, but it is something that still comes back to you, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's like riding a bicycle.
Yep, I'll allow that.
So, an 11 and 19.
Your wanderings take you about Port Nyanzara, and the first place that you think to go and look is around the ports, the actual docking areas where ships come in. And what you quickly realise is that actually in and around the actual harbour, the main harbour, security seems to be fairly tight. You don't notice all that much in the way of actual nefarious dealings around the sort of main warehouses. A lot of this seems to be fairly legitimate. If anything, the only few things that you see are a few signs and thieves' cant for pickpockets to avoid certain patrols in areas, rather than any sort of like clandestine meet here for a good deal or something. Oh, that sounds really... Anyway, regardless.
Yeah, meet here for a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask for Percy.
However, what you do manage to pick up as you're going around, you're not just looking out. You're listening to the different people that you see and you walk past, and you realise that actually this isn't the only place where you can dock, and you realise that there's a lot more loose security at the anchorage to the east of the city, the Etirik anchorage. So you head down to the more industrial sort of area. This is a lot more run down, but here you start to see all over the place, you do see more and more signs of these thieves' cant messages that are written in plain sight, where the patrols will occasionally come and go. You can see sort of like signs pointing to certain warehouses, which you interpret to be indications for smugglers to get illicit goods into Port Nyanzara. And here or there you recognise a few people making signs and thieves' cants, communicating with each other in that sort of that clandestine way. There's people coming in, talking with the sort of the harbour masters, for want of a better word, in what seems to be perfectly legitimate common, talking about what they have in their holds, but you can see they're making the hand gestures that are representing what they're really bringing in. However, what you don't find anywhere is mention of pirates. You don't actually find anyone that is talking about stolen goods, not at least in the quantity that you would expect for the issue it's raised. There are a few places here and there that appear to be set up for potential stolen goods to be brought in, but actually these seem to be between the houses. This doesn't seem to be between the ships coming in and the warehouses, if that makes sense. What you see in the way of places and people to go to for stolen goods, that appears to be mostly based within the city of Port Nyanzara already, rather than coming in from somewhere else. So you get the impression that the pirates, wherever they are, whoever they are, they don't actually operate in and around Port Nyanzara itself. You do, however, manage to see several contacts you can potentially pick up and engage. However, the majority of them appear to be either related to the Zentarim, or there is another faction that you don't recognise, but every once in a while you see this symbol of the 3 middle fingers being raised, almost like a triangle, which seems to indicate this symbol of recognition of this other faction.
Do I have any idea of what this might represent, the three fingers triangle type thing?
Not with that investigation roll. My description there is what you pick up.
Okay, yeah.
There are probably 1 or 2 maybe like individuals that are, running solo, but of actual gangs within Port Nyanzara conducting illicit affairs, the only 2 that you recognise are, yes, these ones that are the Zentarim, who you already know. They're clandestine in some of their dealings, but people know that they are part of the city, because they bulk out the city watch, but clearly they have this sort of ulterior clandestine motive, but there is also this other one. The second one seems to be more rare, if anything. You don't see them as often, but you have noticed that there is some other presence in the city, but you don't recognise who they are.
I think Zibi wouldn't approach the Zentarum because he knows what they're like. He wouldn't necessarily approach this other gang or group of people because he doesn't know who they are, and they seem to be fairly established. So he doesn't quite know what he's getting into with that. So he'd probably look at maybe trying to set up contact with one of the individuals. So non-affiliated people.
Okie dokie. Gonna make you roll again. And for this one, I think it's going to be a charisma.
Yeah.
How do you think Zibi would approach this contact? Like, what sort of manner would he adopt? I'm trying to think whether or not it's going to be like an intimidation factor or a persuasion factor, or perhaps something completely different.
I think... it's not going to be performance, because that's my worst score on that one.
Yep.
I would suggest maybe persuasion.
Also not sure it really would be... well, anyway, yeah. You think it's more like a sort of persuading, like...
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Because he comes from that background, he probably sort of know how to adjust the way he speaks. So although it's persuasion, there's an undercurrent of if this doesn't really go the way I like, then I could seriously fuck you up. But it'd just be an undercurrent rather than sort of like coming in saying, "Tell me what I want, I'll smash your face in." So I think more persuasion.
Question: are you doing anything about your identity? For example, the fact that you were a storm cleric. Are you going to try and adopt some sort of pseudonym, or are you just going to go in as Zibi, Reverend Zibi, following Thor?
Of the fisherman friends, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to shout too loudly about the Thor thing, so he might just tuck the holy symbol into his tunic.
Aye.
I think he's not terribly good at not being Zibi.
Fair enough.
I did think about this during the day and thought, does he try to put another voice on and whatever? No, but then it gets too confusing and too confusing for Zibi, I think, rather. Yeah, he's more blunt and straightforward.
So if I'm reading this right, it's kind of like you're not going to say who you are, but you're not going to necessarily hide it.
No. But
right.
I like I said, I'm going to tuck the symbol of Thor into my tunic, etc. But
okay. Yep.
Yeah. So, would that be with advantage again, or just a straight persuasion?
I'm going to make it a straight roll again. It's not somebody you've necessarily met before, and there is that shaky level. Well, you have done this before. You haven't necessarily done it in Port Nyanzaro. There's that element of not quite knowing if things are done the same way that you know, or if there's a slight difference in how things are done. So I'll have you roll that at just a straight roll, please.
That's a 13. 1-3.
13. Did you add your proficiency bonus though? Because I will allow your proficiency bonus.
It's already included in that because persuasion is one of the things I've already got. I've got as one of my skills.
Okay then. Right. So what did you get?
13. 1-3.
13.
I wish it could be a 30, but it's not.
Okay. So you attempt to approach this person and establish them as a contact. The person in question, let's call them Tobias. After a little bit of back and forth, they do stop to listen to you, and after a quick exchange, you establish through Thieves' Cant that you are indeed of that clandestine nature that might have some work. Tobias is listening. Potential work is always useful. But you get the feeling from him that he's a little unsure. It's tricky always when meeting a new client in this sort of underworld. You are both to each other something of an unknown. Even though you've used the Thieves' Cant, that's not necessarily a sign that both of you can be trusted. He asks, what sort of work do you have, or are you interested in?
I'm interested in you finding out some information for me.
Information, my friend, can be found. Depends on the nature of the information as to how weighty that will be for you.
Well, it's more or less I need to try and find out some information on the Skull and Crossbones crew, if you see what I mean.
Skull and Crossbones? I see. Yes, the recent Dragonbane, so to speak.
Aye, those are the puppies.
Tobias pauses to consider this and says, I can tell you some information now and attempt to find what you're looking for perhaps later. But does the number 10 seem like a good number to you?
It's a nice round number, but I've always preferred the number 6.
Smooth.
Okay. So, we're going to make this a roll of persuasion, contested persuasion here for bartering. Because I don't know how high or low this guy would barter, to be honest. Having only just made him up.
8.
Oh. Tied. So
I just roll again then, or
he doesn't want to budge. You don't want to budge. You can't. Yeah, let's re-roll to see which way it budges.
Dirty 20 on that one, so much better on that one. 8 the first time.
Well, that was a 4 from him.
Otherwise, thumb wars.
So I think what we'll say that happens is, so the first haggle, he puts forward 9, you put forward 6, at 7 even, and then the second time he agrees to 7.5 gold. So 7 gold and 5 silvers.
Mm-hmm.
And what you were able to buy for this information is that the pirates have been causing problems for all of Port Nyanzaro. They appear to have been targeting ships entering and leaving the city. This, of course, has irked the merchant princes, because, of course, it's their goods predominantly that are being stolen. As a result, he himself does not think that the pirates, wherever they are, he thinks that they are likely based somewhere in Cholt to make it easy for them to get to the traffic, and that they likely won't be selling their goods to offence in Port Nyanzaro, as the officials here, well, rather the merchant princes, are all too likely to recognise their goods. Beyond this, he's afraid he doesn't know very much about the pirates, beyond that he's heard rumours that there are 3 ships. But for further payments in the future, he will do what he can to find more information. He tells you that he works down in the Tiriki anchorage, and he points to a particular sign in Thieves' Cant that is in the nearby area that you can identify to sort of like help find him, basically. And with that, you have successfully started a criminal contact relationship. So the way I'm going to work this is whenever you try to go back to the contact to find out what they've learned or to potentially do something else, I will roll to determine how successful they have been. Just sort of like from a metagame perspective. Obviously, if you come back like literally the same day, I'm not going to have they're not going to have found out anything unless
of course,
something momentous has happened. But yeah, you have successfully got yourself a contact.
Can we agree on somewhere that we can drop like a message drop? You know, if we can't meet.
So I think Tobias himself is probably going to be adverse to that just now. He wants to know that you are, quite apart from anything, to make sure that you're good in your word. So he advises meeting again in person, say a week from now, or at least a week from now, as he recognises you might be busy, and that once you sort of met again, and he sort of indirectly says pays for his services again, then we can talk about setting up some sort of system for getting messages back and forth easily.
Yeah, alright, okay.
Yep. My reasoning there being you have to build up trust before he sort of like makes it easier for you.
So it's the Tiriki anchorage, yeah?
Tiriki anchorage, yes.
Yep.
Which, as I say, is
cool.
it's the group of buildings outside the city walls where the dino pens are, which on your map is at the bottom, basically.
It's where we met up with Akene, wasn't it?
Akene, yes.
Yeah.
While that is happening, John, is Percival doing anything in particular, or is he just having a coffee?
Did I see where...
Hopefully he's bringing me back the one I asked for with 3 sugars and cream.
Is Zibi done now? Is he like walking back or anything like that, or is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Well, you see,
I was more just finding out because now that Zibi has done that, I'm kind of snapping round to see what everybody was doing while Zibi was doing that.
okay.
So
Percival's
yeah.
just picked up a couple of coffees and like he's just kind of wandering about a little bit and looking at the sights. He eventually like sees Zibi off in the distance, and he kind of wanders over to him and he hands him this like rather large coffee, and he's like, well, I got myself a Baldur's Gato, and I believe you wanted a double ristretto venti half soy non-fat decaf organic chocolate brownie iced vanilla double shots gingerbread frappuccino extra hot with foam whipped cream upside down double blended with 3 sugars.
No, a water depot was what I wanted, but that's fine.
Okay.
Although this one appears to be for somebody called Timothy.
Oh,
He's off writing a screenplay somewhere.
oh lordy, okay, right.
You just sat and wrote all that down, didn't you, John? You was just trying to think of every single word that you can get out of.
I could hear typing in the background. I think, yeah.